Hello and welcome to Latter-day Profiles. I'm Brian Howard. We're here in Paris, France, and joining me today is President and Sister Munns, the mission leaders for the Paris, France mission. So good to have you. Thank you so much for taking the time out of your really busy schedules to take a few minutes with us today.
Thanks for having us.
Let's talk a little about your background. President Munns, you're from Florida, right, originally, and you grew up in Utah?
St. Louis.
St. Louis. Oh, you grew up in St. Louis. I got to get that right. So, President, tell us a little bit about growing up for you. Give me some of your background.
Oh, wow. I'm a native Floridian. But for my dad being born while my grandfather was in graduate school in Logan, I'd be a seventh generation Floridian, which is a little unusual. But family grew up in Florida, in Central Florida, and born and raised, and then met Sister Munns when I got home from my mission, but didn't know much other than Florida, sunshine and beaches, and then headed to BYU as a freshman, and had an awesome experience as a freshman, and decided to serve a mission, came home and met Sister Munns. But Florida is a remarkable place. The church is growing in Florida, and it's been exciting to see kind of the gathering of Israel work in quite a unique way in Florida. Lots of folks come from the Northeast, all over. Florida's a great place to retire. And when I was a youth, there weren't very many members of the church. But as we got older, all of a sudden there's these families moving from out west, from the north, and from Puerto Rico, and from all over the world. Wow. Coming to Central Florida in particular. Maybe it was a bit, Walt Disney and Mickey Mouse, but also such sunshine and fair weather. But lots and lots of people moved in. So it was interesting growing up, seeing how we went from maybe 2 youth in a seminary class, or 3 youth in a seminary class, to multiple seminary classes now for a particular high school. So lots of growth in the church in Central Florida, but wonderful place to grow up, wonderful place to raise a family. And I'm one of 12 children. On the older end of this, I'm number 2, and so lots of younger brothers and sisters, and so we have tons and tons of nieces and nephews. So our kids have lots of cousins, and about half everybody lives in Florida. Half of the family lives in Utah. Anyway, it's a great place to go.
Folks in Utah like to come and visit you.
Oh, for sure.
Probably.
Yeah, we like to visit. We love visiting Utah, and they love visiting Florida. Come for the sunshine, we come for the snow.
Yeah, it's perfect balance.
It's a good exchange.
Okay, so you grew up in St. Louis. Then. Tell us about that.
Yeah, I was born in Utah, so you didn't get it totally.
Okay, yeah, you didn't get totally wrong.
That was my first 4 years in Utah. My dad was in medical school at the University of Utah.
Oh.
But he did his residency and internship in St. Louis, and then we just stayed. So St. Louis is a really great town to raise a family in. It's very family friendly. They have lots and lots of, the church is strong there, and they have lots of great family activities. All the museums and they just have a lot of family activities that are available that are all free. They have an amazing zoo that's free. Anyway, so we grew up in doing a lot of fun and interesting things together, and because my dad was a doctor, he was busy all the time, but my mom had lots of ways to keep us all entertained. So.
You got to do a lot of fun activities. Yeah. So you said that you two met at BYU. So how did you meet?
Go ahead.
We were next door neighbors.
The story is a little different. So
No, we were next door neighbors. My grandparents owned a condo, and his parents owned the one next door. So we lived next door to each other. We're a very typical BYU love story.
So she was neighbors with my sister, and
while he was on his mission.
Then she got married while I was on my mission, and she's like, "You've got to meet your neighbor. Mom and Dad are going to flip the condo to a guy's condo, so you'll be able to live there. And she's your next door neighbor. She's wonderful. Her name's Heather." And so I got home from my mission. She was one of the first people I met, and I was still very
fresh.
A little fresh.
Off of his mission.
A little awkward, if not very awkward. But we were neighbors at BYU, and that began kind of a dating courtship, a couple months later after I got home. So.
That's awesome. Well, good. You served the same mission I did, Switzerland Geneva Mission. How was that for you? What was that experience like for you?
Loved it. Shocked that I got called there. I was pretty convinced I was going to Brazil, only because it seemed like it made some sense. A Florida boy who likes, to sweat and, kind of humid weather. The only thing I could think of was, it's humid in Brazil, right? Yeah. So that's where they'll send me. But when I remember getting my call at BYU, I was a freshman, and this is all pre-internet, so in order to do any research on what in the world is Switzerland, I knew it was a place of neutrality, but didn't know much more than that, and in the mountains. So went down to the library and, did some research on Switzerland itself, and awesome, loved it. You served the mission. I mean, it's an incredible place.
Yeah,
It's
incredible place.
awesome. Part of all of French-speaking Switzerland, and then a significant chunk of that eastern part of France. When you were a missionary, did it include Marseille?
It did.
It did. Okay. Yeah. Who was your mission president?
It was President Hassel and President Sperry.
Okay, so just right before President Cobb, right?
Yes.
Or no, right after President.
No, it would have been
right after. Yeah, it was right after President Lund. Yeah, I think so. What years?
86 to 88, so a long time ago. Yeah. No, you just dated me. Sorry, everyone. I know how old I am.
I just put that on it. Yeah, so that was right before. So that was when it included Marseille. It was much bigger then. Was Marseille when I was a missionary. Basically, Lyon, Saint-Étienne, Clermont-Ferrand, Dijon, Valence, Grenoble, Annecy, all those parts of France, and then all of French speaking.
Okay, so it changed a little bit. Now I don't know about you, but I was so excited when I saw Switzerland on my mission call, but then French, and that was exciting until I realized I only knew, bonjour, I think. Yeah. I was learning the language for you. Had you had some background experience?
I wouldn't even call it background. I took French 1 year in high school, and I don't think I did very good, nor did I think my teacher liked me very much. But but I took it because it was more interesting to me than maybe taking Spanish. Lots of students in the U.S., particularly in Florida, will take Spanish and decided to take French, but didn't have a clue that that's going to be where I was going to get called. Didn't think I had very good French skills even exiting the MTC, but when you hear that language for the first time in France or in Switzerland, like, that's not what I learned in the MTC. That's like 10 times as fast. But loved it. Decided because of the mission to major in French. That was my major at BYU when I got home, but would never have thought that would have been the case prior to the mission.
Yeah, so now of course you're back speaking again, so get to refresh everything, of course. Let's talk about your careers a little bit. I know you do photography. How did you get into that?
Oh, a couple of friends and I think we just wanted to learn how to take better pictures of our families. So I took some classes from a friend, and then another friend of mine took some classes from her, and then we just kind of learned along the way online and stuff. And I did it for a little bit, but really I mostly just wanted to do it for my family and not other people. That's what I learned in that process. But I love learning. I have lots of things I'd like to pick up as hobbies just to learn, just for fun. But yeah, so I brought all my gear here, but I haven't had much time to use it.
Not a chance to use it, yeah. So you went into the family business at a law firm, correct?
I did. Sure.
Did you? Is that something you had always envisioned from a young age, or changed your mind a little bit later on?
Well, we were graduated from undergrad. Already had one child. I still didn't know what I wanted to do, to be honest with you. I came from my mission because of the mission in French. I decided I'd major in French, but a major in French gets you to teach high school French. You need to go on and get some sort of graduate degree, and so I knew I was going to do something, because I wasn't going to teach high school French. I wanted to do something different. And anyway, so my dad, who was a practicing attorney for many, many years, never pressured me to go to law school, never even really encouraged me to go to law school. Just said, because he knew we were trying to figure out what we're going to do, graduated from BYU as undergrads. And he's like, well, come back to Florida and work at the firm for a little bit. We had a family firm down there, and see what you think. So we went back to Florida and worked for a bit. And I said, okay, I think I can do this. Decided to take the LSAT and prepare for BYU and other applications. Really wanted to go back to BYU, and that was kind of our first pick. And got into BYU, thank goodness, and went back out to BYU with 2 kids, and started law school. And that's been kind of an adventure. I knew we'd always come back to Florida. The whole plan was to go back and work for my dad. I probably wouldn't have thought of going into law except for my dad. And again, he never really pressured or suggested, except when he knew I was wondering what in the world I was going to do with a French degree. Anyway, but he became my mentor after law school, and just kind of launched from there. To be honest, it was kind of a crazy experience. Sir Munns, or Sister Munns, Sir Munns is in French, but Sister Munns probably wouldn't have chosen Florida from the beginning.
Well, I just don't love being hot, so I'm actually not one of the
4 Seasons gal, but she at least was willing to say, okay, well, all right, I'm married to you and you're going to be a lawyer. I guess we'll go back to Florida.
But now we love it, and
Yeah, it's home now.
we can't imagine being anywhere else.
So you spent, quite a bit of time there. You got to serve as a stake president.
Yep.
And I read a lot of complimentary stuff about your service there. What are some of the highs and lows of serving as a stake president?
Oh, wow. Well, it's incredible to see how the church is growing and progressing, how the Lord is gathering Israel. It's really amazing. In Orlando, it was one stake for most of my really youth until, maybe I was a little bit older. My grandfather was a stake president in Orlando back in the day, and it encompassed a huge portion of Central Florida. And by the time I was a stake president, that was the fourth stake in Orlando proper. And in the coordinating council, I think there's 9 stakes now in the coordinating council, which is kind of the greater Orlando area. And it's just, that's probably the greatest blessing, is to see these wonderful saints doing the work, exercising faith and acting in faith. And it's amazing. There's highs and lows. I mean, this whole moral experience is tough and challenging, but faithful members doing what they can and seeing how the Lord supplements His infinite atonement is the most amazing part of really any calling, but it certainly was as a stake president. And you get to be a part of a lot of really fun, I think, and exciting experiences with members, with prospective missionaries preparing to go on missions, for example, people returning from maybe a time or period away from the church, and those getting ready to enter into covenants, going to the temple for the first time. So there's really some remarkable experiences. And I was a young stake president at the time, and didn't really feel like I was in any way, shape, or form qualified. And they don't give you a break. They just kind of, here you are, you're set apart. The next day I was supposed to set apart a missionary, and never done that before. And so I think that was another positive, is it just starts immediately, and you don't have a chance to really think about it. Just, rely on the Savior and jump in and do it. And it's a long calling. It goes 8 to 10 years, and I served for 9 years, just about on the button, really, before we were released in 2022. Yeah, October 2022.
Yeah, out of the frying pan into the fire kind of thing.
For sure, that's kind of what it was. Yeah.
Let me ask you about that. One thing I really appreciate now is we refer to mission leaders are called, so mission president, of course, but instead of just Sister Munns, also mission leaders, kind of showing that you have responsibilities together. Sister Munns, when you found out about a mission call to serve here in Paris, first of all, what was the experience like with that, and how did you feel about it?
From the beginning of when we found out we were going to be, well, it was shocking, a little surprising, but not completely. I mean, I think we both had kind of a feeling about it. So, but it was interesting. The whole going through the process. They had to do a preliminary interview to kind of see if you could go, and then they recommend you, and then you get a call from someone. Our call happened to come from President Nelson, and so having a phone call with him was surreal and exciting and wonderful. But I don't speak French, and so I just felt like, wow, Paris. Paris is great, it's wonderful, but like that, wow, we're going to go across the world. It was a little overwhelming, but it was also exciting, and it was all the emotions were at play. And then, of course, because we were bringing children with us, that was also a reason it felt a little difficult in some ways.
Yeah, a lot of things to take care of when you're moving across the world and bringing family, that kind of thing with you. President, let me ask you about becoming a mission president. Sounds like similar to, there's no shadow period. You come in and you're the president. What's it like? You've been at it for almost a year now, I guess, right?
So it'll be a year come June.
June.
Yeah, so this last year called. The church has done a good job of providing some preparations beforehand. The mission training they do at the MTC is remarkable. They give you a mentor, which was wonderful. which I don't know how long that's been going on, but it's not been terribly long. We're former mission leaders. They talk with us regularly and
Wow.
kind of give us some guidance, not tell us what to do, but just give some counsel and let us ask questions. And so that was really, really helpful. Our predecessors, the Hansons, Sister Hanson, we were able to have a conversation, actually multiple conversations with them in preparation. So we felt like we had a little bit of an understanding, but it doesn't really prepare you for actually getting on terra firma, flying into Paris, into the mission, where we spend just about an hour or so where they can just give you the keys to the home and the car, and they just walked off. And we were like, wait a second. Shouldn't we stay
a couple weeks?
longer? So, and then just like, I think it probably is that case with most callings is it begins. It just begins immediately. And it's kind of shocking and remarkable that the Lord can do his work through us very limited creatures, and we just start doing. And so it was a little surreal. We were grateful for all the training and the preparations we were given, but then you're just right in it, and you're just trying to figure out what the Lord's will is. And you've got right now we have 174 missionaries, that all are looking to you, and you're like, I don't know anything yet, I just know the things I know is what I'll rely on. We know that he exists, that he loves us. This is his work, and he'll answer prayers, and we'll get after it. But all the details, the mission couples are so important. And these young mission leaders, they're the most incredible, probably the greatest blessing of our service thus far is seeing these missionaries become disciples and know how to lead other missionaries and really undertake the work. The Lord doesn't call, I turned 50 in the mission field, and doesn't call 50-year-old men and women to be his missionaries. He calls 18 to 22-year-olds. And it's kind of amazing that those, without guile perhaps, and with great faith, but not a whole lot of knowledge, worldly knowledge, if you will,
Yeah.
They're the ones that make the miracles happen, because they rely on the Lord. So anyways, that's been amazing. And so as soon as we started seeing how incredible these missions are, we had our first MLC the Tuesday after the Friday we arrived, and we're like, oh, we're okay because they are awesome. Well, we can do this because they are incredible. And these wonderful couples who've been in the mission field already, and they kind of helped hold down the fort. And then all of a sudden we're 10 months into it, and we're like, wait a second, they're all going home. These wonderful missionaries need to stay here. And, and then the next group kind of works its way up and just grows and progresses. So I don't know. That's probably what we've talked about the most is like, I can't believe how good these missionaries
They're
are.
incredible.
How the work can move forward, even maybe thanks to their youthful innocence and just kind of willingness to say, okay, this is what the Lord says we're going to do. Let's go do this. Mm-hmm. Let's go see those miracles. And
they're less inhibited.
Inhibited
than adults would be.
But so faithful and have faith in Jesus Christ and in his atoning sacrifice, and watch them, really exercise their faith, and is remarkable experience. Mm-hmm. And we're gathering Israel, and it's President DeFeo, Elder DeFeo, our area president currently, talked about Europe being, Jacob 5, these really established roots. And, when you and I were missionaries, that began sort of a bit of a contraction of missions in Europe, Western Europe in particular.
Yeah.
Your mission and my mission got shrunk, and then they combined missions in France. Now we're down to 2 missions in France. But the work is moving and progressing remarkably, and lots of tender branches are being grafted in to this established, European church, French church, and growing, strengthening the roots, and the roots are strengthening the branches, and those branches, some stay, some go. And I thought that was remarkable, and it was exactly what we're seeing. Is we're seeing people from all over the world making their way to the Paris, France mission, making their way to France, and finding the church, finding the gospel. So it's been awesome. It's about the best word to describe it is it's an awesome experience.
So one thing I noticed when we've come before and brought students, that we met with the young single adults, and they were from everywhere. And wasn't what I expected. I don't know what I expected, but they're from everywhere.
Super diverse. It's incredible. It's been said that the French language is going to be really prominent in the church. And that's what we see. We see these wonderful, faithful saints who come from French-speaking African countries, for example. Our wonderful Tahitian brothers and sisters, many of which are in France. And then the wonderful French people themselves are looking for truth. And we're seeing really an uptick in momentum when it comes to the gathering of Israel in France.
Very exciting.
Yeah, I don't know that, so I certainly didn't, when I was a missionary, think much about my mission president and his young family and all the things they had to do, and everywhere they had to go. It's just, it was the mission president, he's up in the mission office, and what's he doing up there? I don't know.
Yeah.
What's the day in the life of mission leaders, meeting with the missionaries, conferences, taking care of your family? How does that all roll out? Give us I don't know if there is a typical day, but if there was one, what happens?
There's a typical 6-week cycle, but that's not the only part. The day, it just depends where you are really in the 6-week cycle. If you have zone conferences or interviews, or I always stay behind if he has to travel places to be with the kids. But a typical day, I mean, if we're not doing zone conferences, we're planning them.
Planning zone conferences.
Or MLC.
Yeah. There's a lot of administration, and I mean, if there's 100 in our complement is 168 missionaries. Currently, we're at 175 as of yesterday, and 8-10 couples. There's a lot of just moving parts there, and so just functioning administratively is important to hold the ministry, if you will. But yeah, that 6-week cycle, we have 7 zones, and so they correspond to 7 states, which are in the mission boundaries. And so we do 7 zone conferences every transfers every 6 weeks. Sometimes we combine the zone conferences. With 7 states, that's 14 state conferences every year. And so we try to attend those as often as we can, including other state meetings. Today, before we came here today, we were at Stake Youth conference, if you will, a Super Sandy. They did a little mini MTC, and so we did a mission prep course for the Paris Sud Stake. And so there's just lots of those little things, but there's 175 missionary letters every week that you read, and there isn't a day.
175 interviews, which comes out to be like 70 hours every 6 weeks.
And it's a wonderful experience, but there isn't after 10:30 when the missionaries are in bed, the phone does go quieter now. But from 6:30 to 10:30, there's action activity, and it's awesome.
Good thing.
So we have a typical 6-week cycle, and we try to do some things as a family. We haven't really figured that one out yet, to be honest with you. We're supposed to have a P day. But our kids do come when they can. They're busy with school and doing their things, but and Sister Munns will come when she can, particularly if we're in Paris. She can get the kids to school, then come and participate in the zone conference. And every 4 weeks we have MLC, which is a young group of mission leaders, and they're incredible. And we try to every transfer do work with these missionaries, not just give them trainings, but work with them, go do some things with them, and it doesn't stop. Yeah. And I guess that's a good thing. That is a good thing.
It's good.
And there's never a dull moment. And 10 months, which is about what we are, went by so fast. It's amazing. Yeah.
It sounds like from what you said that your experience has only just increased your testimony because of what you've seen, the miracles with the missionaries.
Oh my goodness, we see miracles literally every day in the mission.
Every day.
And we love that the missionaries recognize them, and we ask them to share them with us. So we'll get like little voice memos. Oh my goodness, you won't believe the miracle we had today. But they share the most amazing miracles. Yeah. I mean, this is the Lord's work, and it is very obvious.
It's His work. And they see it every day. This is a mission of miracle. It's not just our mission, it's the work. The work is a miraculous work. We get in the way when we let Him prevail, if you will, like President Nelson said. Miracles happen, and there are miracles happening. And the saints in France and the mission are incredible. You've interviewed many of them. They're just awesome. The stake presidents and their leadership and their keys, they have the keys for missionary work, in their states. They're incredible. And so, even with our attempts to figure things out and falling short, which is really the mortal experience, it's just amazing as we decide the next day and And these missionaries the next day in their daily planning, all right, we're going to do that a little bit better this time. And they see the miracles and they see the Lord doesn't pluck them out of circumstances, but just gives them greater capacity as they believe him. So it's been awesome to see. And they work so well with these wonderful local leaders. And again, the saints in France are immensely strong, experienced, and they know what this is about. They know they have deep and abiding converted testimonies of the gospel of Jesus Christ, his restored gospel, and they're working hard. So it's just fun to do all that and see it there wherever you go in the world. You know, we're from Florida, and you know, we lived in Utah, and we have family all over. It is the same work. It's the same covenants that we're making that give us the power of godliness in our lives, and it's him. It's his work. And anyway, it's been awesome. It's been really an awesome experience, and wouldn't have been able to, you know, when people describe this as the work of salvation, and yes, and I was a young missionary, and as a stake president, you know, we were focused on missionary work, and we're seeing it with those missionaries who are out and about doing it every day, and it's a work that is accelerating. That is for sure. It is accelerating, and it's him accelerating it.
President and Sister Munns, thank you so much, mission leaders for the Paris, France mission. It's been a pleasure to talk with you. Thanks for sharing about yourselves and sharing your testimony. It's been really fun to talk with you.
Thanks so much for having us.